Well, there's been a pretty big break-ish. There's a big piece of news in the Tyler Robinson case that is pretty interesting. So some stupid headlines like, Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin Tyler Robinson was a video game savant who played Wordle less than an hour before the incident. I don't think playing Wordle makes you a savant. I'm pretty sure that, I don't know why Wordle. Everybody plays Wordle. Wordle. It's not a savant thing. But more interestingly, his friends were interviewed by the Washington Post, and all of which have come out to say that they believe he was in fact the shooter. Well, the Washington Post has a new piece out after interviewing friends of Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin, Tyler Robinson. Now, I don't know why the mob investigators, if the Washington Post can do it, certainly Candace can do it, but I don't know. The four reporters spent significant time trying to downplay leftist politics in the story, but the friends revealed that both Robinson and his trans lover roommate Luna Twiggs were becoming increasingly hateful of Trump and conservatives over trans issues. Now, this has been basically my suspicion from the start. It's sometimes Occam's razor is a thing. That's. I get that there's a lot of questions still to be answered, and I'm really hoping the trial in May or June will actually answer those things. But also, sometimes it just is what it looks like. And here's what we have. The matches, so the forest, this matches what Robinson's family also told investigators and already referenced on the rifle cartridges. A few times when he was drunk, Robinson would joke about right-wing politicians. One person recalled, that guy's going to catch a bullet one day, or something like that. No one took it seriously, he and another friend said, noting that it was the kind of flippant remark anyone in the group might make during a night of drinking. I don't know. I'd have to see the context. Was he joking? Was he, filled with rage? I don't know. In July 2024, Robinson reacted on Discord to news that someone had shot Trump with a message that his friends understood to be a joke. Robinson roommates, this is Lance Twiggs, increasingly complained about right-wing politicians and anti-trans sentiment in Utah and about receiving, quote, funny looks from coworkers. The person said, Discord messages show that the roommates asked their friends whether they wanted to attend an anti-Trump protest after the election, which we already know, based on the work of Turkey Tom, I believe it was. The archives do not show any reply from Robinson. The roommate viewed Trump's election as a loss for trans rights and was distraught, according to that person. More than once, the person said he saw Robinson cradling his sobbing roommate in his arms. Isn't that interesting? Now, I happen to believe very strongly that Lance Twiggs is involved at some level of this. I can't say how much, but I think that he was involved at the very minimum in planning it. At the very minimum, he knew it was going to happen. I think, more sinisterly, it's just my opinion, that he groomed Tyler into doing this. They also said a person that spent a significant amount of time at the apartment in that period said that after Robinson started dating his roommate, Robinson began criticizing conservatives for fear-mongering on trans issues. Robinson also complained about right-wing figures in the news, including Trump, whose tariffs he believed would tank the economy, that person said. Well, I'm not really sure, did you see the news what Charlie Kirk's alleged killer's friends said after the attack? It was September 10th. Robinson had guessed the answer pouty on his third attempt in Wordle. He sent his results and celebratory meme to his friends, who responded with a meme of his own and conceded that it had taken him 5 tries. By then, according to prosecutors, Robinson had already driven 3 hours from his home in southern Utah with his high-powered rifle. He was about to make his way onto campus for Utah Valley University, where Kirk was set to speak outdoors. The exchange ahead of the assassination, for which Robinson would later turn himself in on, was a striking example of the compartmentalization the 22-year-old exhibited in his interactions with friends in the days before the incident. A Washington Post examination found this, and in the years leading up to that day, friends said Robinson betrayed no sign of his passions that might suggest a capability for violence, much less murder. To many, he appeared to hold unremarkable political opinions, and some that he was no fan of any party. However, once he started getting groomed by his trans roommate, there are a lot of people that said, I think he was still a virgin when he moved in there, nothing wrong with that, and that he was unable to complete his bedroom activities with Lance, probably because he wasn't gay. Robinson sent roommates an apparent confession that suggested a possible explanation for the killing. Quote, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated. He wrote in the message hours after the incident. The Post reached Robinson by video call in mid-October in Utah County Jail, where he's being held, so they interviewed him. I can't answer any questions, he said. You're welcome to talk. In 4 calls spanning about 40 minutes, he maintained that disciplined approach, listening silently as a reporter described what friends and acquaintances had said about him. He did not audibly react to hearing about Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica had publicly forgiven him, or that Trump had awarded Charlie Kirk the Medal of Freedom. Eventually, Robinson asked reporters to communicate only in writing. He did not respond to messages sent through the jail's email system, and his attorneys declined to answer any questions for his report. Now, I would argue that if this is a guy that thought he was innocent, right? Like, if he was feeling like he would be wrongfully charged, if he was going to be wrongfully charged, don't you think he would tell the media? Like, don't you think he would be telling the media? Please, you have the wrong guy. They have the wrong guy. I didn't do it. Didn't bother in 4 separate interviews. 80 minutes after Kirk was shot, the Post found Robinson wrote to his Wordle friend on the messaging platform Discord. He seemed eager to discuss the attack. Later that day, Robinson joined 2 other friends in a Discord voice chat and asked if they knew anything about the incident. He was short of breath and seemed to be outside, recalled one of the friends, who, like many others interviewed for his report, spoke on the condition of anonymity, did not want to be publicly associated with the incident, or were concerned for their own safety. Robinson asked his 2 friends if they knew Kirk's condition. They said they unsure. He got hit pretty bad, the friend called Robinson, saying, I'm pretty sure he's dead. Robinson also didn't like hateful people, Luke recalled. He didn't like bullies because they looked down on people just for living their lives. Well, that makes sense. That means, why you would kill them. Their friends, beginning in 2024, he got radicalized. A few times when drunk, Robinson would joke about right-wing politicians. One person added about catching a bullet. No one took it seriously. Obviously, he made a joke about Trump getting shot. Robinson did not openly discuss his orientation with people he spoke to the Post, but some started noticing he was getting close with his 2 roommates, a person who had been assigned male at birth. He's a dude. He wasn't assigned male at birth to Washington Post. He is a male. Around that time, the roommate quickly began coming out to some people as transgender, according to his friends. You don't have to change anything. We already know a lot about this stuff. But it seems like his friend, Robinson would later message his roommate that began planning the attack a bit over a week before Kirk's campus appearance. Prosecutors allege 6 people talked with Robinson around the time they said they detected nothing unusual. He'd gone to parties, other stuff like that. They played video games. What's interesting is authorities have provided very few details about their whereabouts. We know this. It does not seem, his friends. Here's one thing. Robinson's friends disagreed. Here's one last exchange. By the evening, Robinson had been persuaded to turn himself in a decision he relayed to his friends on Discord, along with an apparent confession. Quote, it was me at UVU yesterday. At the news conference the next day, Utah governor announced that Robinson's arrest and described the messages engraved on the bullet casings. I think it speaks for itself, he said. Robinson's friends disagreed. The arrow sequence mirrors a code used in Helldivers 2, a satirical video game that pits Earth against whatever. I can't say for certain that he's a fascist when referring to Charlie Kirk, or it was literally just a reference from the video game, said Robinson's Wordle friend. I don't know what he meant by it. It sounds like they're trying to cover for him. It seems like you generally don't have like far leftoids hanging out with conservatives. That's not really what this is about. Like, that doesn't really happen, by the way. And his friends basically align with his radicalization. Now, what's interesting is how far have these people been investigated more? But this does fill in more gaps based on kind of what we know about Tyler Robinson and about how he, was groomed, in my opinion. But we'll have to see. Hopefully we'll get some more facts and evidence before the trial in May. But until then, I'll keep you updated here. I hope you tune into our live stream today, live from AmFest, and we'll talk to you again real soon.